Hi, I'm Joan Cordy, and I am the director of Shayna Maidel. The characters are coming together, and the two sisters are strangers. They were raised in different worlds, and now they have to come together as a family. And the sister who was left in Poland and had gone through the concentration camps has a lot of emotional baggage and landmines and scarring, and a lot of that she holds her father accountable for. And her father also has that guilt. And the sister who lives in New York City has a lot of survivor's guilt. So how can we take that very fractured family and bring them together as one?
My character development was probably different than everyone else. My character is not actually the one experiencing any of the Holocaust, and my character was very shielded and hidden from it with my family. She knew nothing about what was happening, so my character development is more a gradual build because I'm super just oblivious to everything at the start. I'm very happy, lighthearted, and I still am by the end, but as my character finds out more and more of what's going on in her sister's life, her father's life, she reaches a breaking point because she has missed so much. And so my character development was challenging because I really had to imagine what it would be like to not know anything, and it's your own family hiding all of this from you, and what it would feel like to finally know everything that happened.
So after we got our scripts, we started doing dialect training, and we started learning Yiddish because there's a lot of Yiddish in the show. It's a very serious show, so that's something that was a bit of a challenge, is I haven't done something this serious, but the cast and crew have really helped.
Speaking a lot from a perspective of taking care of someone and trying to be a father in a household where one of your daughters has been gone for a long time, and trying to just be the mold to a family.
It's an entire different culture that I did not know much about, and I wasn't a very history savvy person growing up, so I kind of had to learn a lot of historical things. The cast helped a lot. We're like a little family, and we bonded in rehearsal and outside of rehearsal, and that support really helped.
The rehearsals were great. We have an incredibly generous and loving cast, and they make a wonderful ensemble. So it was always a joy to go to rehearsal because they were so excited to be there, to learn about the history of these characters and what was going on in the world, and just very enthusiastic people.
We started purely off of actor instincts and then built from there, and we were still adjusting things week of the show just based on what felt most right for the characters, which is a very much more fluid process than I am used to having as a stage manager.
I think one of the challenging parts of doing a Shayna Maidel is connecting with the history of these characters and being able to honor the story of these people who have gone through the Holocaust. For people who are 20 years old right now, that seems like ancient history. And so it was a lot to learn about and a lot to take in. And I think that we have partnered with the Institute for Holocaust Education in Omaha, Nebraska, and Scott Litkey has been so giving of his time and his knowledge to bring the Holocaust to the students in a way that was accessible so that they could learn about it and know about it, and how to process all of that information, especially as they were approaching these characters from an acting standpoint.
It was convenient that we were able to rehearse in the library of the basement, which was about as close to the library as we were going to get till we loaded in. But Natalie, my assistant, and I load in the set and the props every night and load them back out again. The only things that stay up are the walls and the rugs. So that's an added layer of pre and post show. And keeping track of props and set as you move them in and out every night is really important. And then just the other ideas of there being other people up there.
There are a lot of props in this show, and since it's one location the entire time, it was tracking where things are going all of the time and knowing how I can be of help. Also, we did all of our rehearsals in a separate space than what was our final performance space until a few weeks before. And that's more industry standard, but it was just a different experience for me, definitely.
Shayna Maidel's a human story, and it's hard to remember that because they're fictional people until you have the actual humans who had similar experiences in front of you, and so Agnes really put that face on it for me. And the exhibit is incredible too. I love museums. I'm a huge history nerd, and so being able to have one right there accessible and in the space where we were working was great.
It was so informative because there's a lot of stuff about the Holocaust, especially from the American point of view, that we don't think about. So it was just really cool to be educated about all of that.
We genuinely, authentically, and considerately told the story of Shayna Maidel. There was a lot of different sources I used, a lot of different research, and a lot of different opinions, and so taking that into consideration was probably the difficulty within the process, but it all worked out to be very amazing.
Not only are you working with your with your fellow actors on stage, moving around in costume, you come out of costume and think about the experiences you have with these people. That this really did happen, and even though we're in a modern, era right now, and it's not constantly around us, being with this script and talking with those people that had those experiences, going to exhibits and watching documentaries added a whole new level to who you are, and that then applied to the script as well.
As a costume designer, especially working with a time period like the 1940s, you have to take every little detail of a costume into consideration. So I've thought about everything within the story, even down to Mordecai's white dress shirt that he wears throughout the show. Is it going to have a texture of a bold stripe? Is it going to have a subtle stripe? Or is it just going to be a plain white dress shirt? All the things contribute to the character's story, enhance the story overall, and it was definitely the most challenging part of the process, but it turned out being the most rewarding when it all came together and live on stage.
I hope that audiences take away a sense of love and belonging, and that even when you feel alone, you're not, and there are people who care about you and love you, and that just overarching hope, family, no matter how bad something is, it will get better.
Kale Sagir and Scott Lidke at the Institute for the Holocaust Education in Omaha, Nebraska are experts in their field. This is what they have studied, and their mission is to help us all to remember what happened in the past so history doesn't repeat itself. We want to remember so that we can go forward. There's so many different groups around the world who continue to be persecuted, and how can we as human beings not only be aware of what's going on, but how can we stand up and use our voices to say that we're not going to let this happen, we're not going to let it happen now, and how we can help create a better future for our world.